welcome to another episode of Muay Thai Saved Me. Alongside me is my business partner. I didn't recognize him at first. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a huge difference. Can you guys tell what it is? Can you guys tell?
We'll give it a couple seconds.
Yeah, let it sink in. But anyways, I'll let them. This is my business partner, Edwin Lopez. And across from us is one of our members, Malcolm Cook.
Yes, sir.
Right? Malcolm, welcome today. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
I'm genuinely grateful.
Really appreciate you. I was talking how Malcolm reminds me of like Wesley Snipes right now from New Jack City. He's all clean cut, wearing the gold, rocking the gold. And I never see you in normal clothes, so it's kind of cool to see you all looking sharp right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was just saying, I'm just not used to seeing none of y'all like normal. You know what I mean? I'm like, everybody got on like sweats.
You know what's funny? Have you noticed, like, if you ever see members and you see them in regular clothes? I was just like, the other day I was at the mall and they're like, I was with Kim and we were shopping in some store at the Topanga, and some guys were like, MTK? And I was like, yeah, why were you guys gonna jump me? I don't understand. I was like, yeah. And they were like, we're students there. And I was like, oh, what's up, guys? Like, but I didn't recognize them. It had to like sink in because like everybody was dressed in like normal clothes.
I was in my feelings when we all went skating, and I was the only person like MTK'd out. It was me and you. We were always the people like MTK'd all the way out. I was like, man, I would have got fly if I didn't know everybody was gonna be chilling, man.
Well, that's actually why we did that, because we wanted to get out of the gym environment and just, hey, let's just hang out outside of the gym.
Valid.
So now you know next time, all right. Unless we say
fight.
Yeah, right. Fights, yes, wear your shirts.
But see, it could have been a fight. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
It was a fight to stand up, I'll tell you that much. I saw a couple of the members there like, oh, man.
But for anyone that missed Malcolm, he's amazing at roller skating.
Thank you, man.
I was just very impressed. I was like taking notes.
That was like one of my pastimes when I was a kid. Yeah, I used to go like a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like the closest thing to the club I could go to as a kid. So I was like,
which one did you go to?
I'm from DC, so I used to go to this spot called Crystal.
Okay.
I don't know if it's still open or not. It's always getting shut down and reopened like every 2 or 3 years.
For what reason?
Something wild happens.
Oh, yeah?
It's
like hood? No?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just, when you say happens, like what are some stuff that has happened there?
Oh, I mean, like, it's just like, people get shot. Shit like that.
That's not hood?
No, I thought you said it's a good.
No, I said it's a hood.
Oh, yeah, it's hood. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
you were like, it's not hood, and I was like, so what happened? Somebody got shot.
No, it's definitely.
What is the hood then?
No, it's definitely hood. Like everybody, shouts out to anybody from DC, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? They know Crystal Skating Ring. That's a staple of like growing up out there to me. You know what I'm saying? So.
And speaking of that, Malcolm, for people that don't know you or just listening in, let them know who Malcolm Cook is. Who's Malcolm? So he's from DC.
I'm from DC. Okay. It's so hard to answer that question because, like, all right, so I'm gonna try to sum it up. I'm Malcolm. I'm 31. I'm from DC. I've been in California for like what? It'll be 5 years in March.
Wow.
Which is crazy. I'm a father. I'm engaged to be married. I'm
Congratulations.
A cameraman. Thank you. I'm a cameraman by profession. So I make like TV shows and shit like that. So
no way.
Okay,
that sums me up in a nutshell, in my opinion.
Cool. Okay. Well,
are you normally on the other side of the lens or both?
I'm never on the front. Like I made a podcast for like a week and I didn't do the good numbers, so I gave up quick.
Got it.
But other than that, like I'm professionally like behind the camera. So like I take like a lot of like I do like TV shows and like documentaries or like magazine like spread stuff.
On your own, or how does that work? Like
I freelance.
Okay.
So I used to do corporate. So I did corporate video for like from 21 until like I moved out here. So I did 5 years corporate. I used to work at like I was doing corporate video. So I had like 2 office jobs. And then I was like, man, I don't think I'm gonna like this much. So I left and I came to California.
Okay.
That's cool.
What was the reason that you didn't? Because some people stay with corporate like type of jobs for the rest of their life. What was your spark that you're like, I want to go into freelancing?
I'm an art school kid. Like I went to art school for music and like drums and piano and shit like that. You know what I mean? So going into corporate environments, it just was like it stifled me. And in my first corporate job I had, I code switched. So like the way I'm talking to y'all right now, I would not do this shit there. I would be like, yeah guys, And I hated it. Like, that shit was so fucking corny,
What's up,
bro.
fellas?
Yeah, like
Can you give us a little sample?
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
like,
I don't think I can. I don't even got it in me no more. Like, it's legit not in me no more. Like, I just don't have it. You know what
I
I'm
would
saying?
love to see that.
Yeah.
But it
one
was
day.
the Christmas party. The Christmas party at that job, I'm gonna tell y'all where it was at. It was at National Geographic.
No.
National
Really?
Geographic had the littest Christmas party of all time.
No
And when
way.
I saw everybody like put their real colors on and shit, I was like, no.
It's just a bunch
I
of
am
white
never
people.
doing
What
this
was
shit.
it?
I was the one black. I was like one of the 2 black dudes in my department.
No way.
I was the one of the custodial dudes, like the lead janitor guy. He's been there for like 40-something years or something like that. He told me I was the first black dude in that office, like in that specific position, in that room that he's ever seen.
No way.
Ever.
Everybody else was what? White and Jewish?
White, Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Asian.
Right on.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we were seldom
So how was the party?
lit.
Yeah,
what's
what's
up,
up, were you
man?
like, what's going on,
Yo,
guys? Any eggnog and shit?
It was a lot of eggnog. I'm talking about, it was sponsored by eggnog.
No shit. Hey, that shit's actually good, bro. Forever, I was like, I thought like, I don't know if it has actual egg, but one time I tasted it. Have you ever had egg? It tastes
It's
good, dude.
Right?
It was like
Nah,
shit.
It was a shindig. So I say that to say though, like, it just made me realize that like a lot of people were not being them true selves throughout the workday. And I'm like, oh, this is what y'all do on Saturday and Sunday, but I get this fake version of y'all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I didn't like that. And I felt like I was participating in that. So then I left that job and I got another corporate job. And I was at a better position. I got a raise and everything. But I vowed to myself, like, from this point forth, in this position, y'all gonna get this version of me. And I realized that this version of me ain't always gonna be appropriate for some of those environments that people want you to like conform to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like throat tattoos and shit like that. I couldn't do that there. In comfort, at least, you know.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you're happier now, right?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I love too because you said you're an arts kid. It makes total sense, music and all that. Because I'm telling you, every time he's in my class and a song comes on, I have to just go oh because Malcolm will just be jamming. He'll just be like, and I'm like, oh, get it, Malcolm.
Yeah, you always psych me up. You always psych me up. I appreciate that.
Of course,
I really do.
I love it.
So let me ask you, Neil, because obviously I'm not in those classes with you guys. What type of student is Malcolm as opposed to everybody else? What are some things you could say about him?
I would say first off, he always comes to learn. He's very coachable. He's humble, and he's hardworking. He will give you his all to the best of his ability, and if he doesn't get it, he tries his best to get it. And he'll always say, "Kru, I'm gonna get it. And I love that. He's great attitude. I know the other coaches love Malcolm too because of that. The same thing. They know when Malcolm comes to class, he's there to work hard. He's there to learn, and he's gonna push himself. You know,
cool.
and
I
then
appreciate that.
yeah. So that's how I would describe Malcolm.
I love it. I see you always in and out, but obviously I've never seen you in the classes. But I was just curious because I do see you be there consistent. I think I just recently started following you not too long ago, your Instagram, and I noticed like your body change has been crazy. You
Yeah.
lift also weights, and
I
you've
do
just
lift
been
weights,
swelling
yeah.
up, and I was like, damn, that's dope. I love that.
Thank you,
I love
man.
that, man. What made you come into to train Muay Thai and all that? How'd you stumble upon us?
I couldn't wait to tell this story when y'all asked me that.
Yeah.
So how I stumbled across y'all, basically, I had a private trainer that would come to my house during COVID, and we would train
Muay Thai?
Muay Thai.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I was like, me and him would spar for like 30 seconds, but he was super nice, and he was always respectful, and he would never like really punch me and shit. So I was like, man, I gotta find somewhere where I could actually get hit. So I called around, and y'all offered sparring on Fridays, and I was like, oh, I can go there and practice what I learned throughout the week at MTK. So I only came there originally just to spar, and that's how I came across you guys. But how I got into Muay Thai is, like I was telling Kru earlier, basically I have a 7-year-old, she's right here. I have a 7-year-old, and she was, I would take her to this Chuck E. Cheese that was closest to my mom's house. So like my mom would babysit. I'm like, all right, let me take you to Chuck E. Cheese. There was a Muay Thai gym right next door to the Chuck E. Cheese. It was a Chuck E. Cheese, Muay Thai gym, and a Walmart. It was like, that was the only three things right there. And so I'm a camera dude, like I was saying, and basically I had a whole rack of equipment in my car. This is like 2000, she was alive, so this was like 2000, maybe like 5 years ago, like 6 years ago. So like something, whatever 6 years ago was. And So I had a whole rack of equipment in my car, and I just like left out my car real quick, hit a quick corner to grab a drink, and came back, and I seen this dude with a specific looking bag in his hand. And like I'm from Southeast DC, like so where we from, like I take that back. I wasn't even on no gangster shit at first. I was just like confused. It was genuinely like.
Was this the corporate time?
This was my corporate. Yes, doing corporate.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, no, see, I was doing that at the time. This was like I was not on that. I was never on that outside of at work at the time. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. But when I seen him with my stuff, I was just confused. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he was like, "What's up?" So I was like, "Oh." So I immediately darted across the street and started trying to knock his ass out. So I'm like, because it was my corporate, it was my job's equipment that they were stealing.
Oh no.
So I'm like, yo, if you get me fucking fired, it's a wrap. So I'm fighting tomorrow. So I always take my camera inside wherever I go if I have it with me. So I set my camera down, I run across the street, I'm fighting this dude. Out of nowhere, I just get stole from somebody else. So now I get dropped. Yeah. So I'm on the ground. We are scrapping. Like I'm talking about, we are scrapping. Like I am not. At this point, my pride is just involved. Now, fuck the equipment. Like you trying to beat me up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then they ended up going across the street. I'm talking about I'm biting these motherfuckers. Like I'm talking about I grabbed a handful of meat and tried to rip it off. Like I was like, I'm not gonna lose. Yeah. I dabbed. The dude tried to get into the driver's seat of his car. I dabbed in the passenger seat, knocked the key out of his hand. He just started beating me in the head. I bit the dude. Grabbed my bag out the back. He was like, "Get the dude the bag, give him the bag, give him the bag." They gave me the bag and I run off. I go back to pick my camera up, it's gone.
Whoa!
So somebody else was like, "Fuck those guys fighting, I'm about to pick this camera up."
Oh my God.
And I literally went to Muay Thai the next day. Cause they weren't supposed to knock me out. Like, I swear, like a dude my size, not knowing how to formally fight, like I was like, yo. And
you were outnumbered.
Outnumbered, I was supposed to get beat up. I did not, I got beat up, but they got beat up too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the next day I was like, yo, if this ever come across my desk again, it ain't gonna be none of this conversation. This is gonna be straight pause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What happened to your job when you told them about the camera?
I was so embarrassed. Like, I was already like super like that dude there. I was always late because I stopped caring. I was like, I was over corporate and shit. And like, they was over me. They were definitely over me when that happened. But like, I visibly was in a fight.
Yeah, you could, I'm sure you could see it.
I was visibly in a fight. You know what I'm saying? But DC's like a weird city. So like, you know, half of it's extremely corporate and buttoned up, you know, and we see the politics and all that. But the other side is just ratchet and outside hood shit. So it's like, throughout my life, I've been, you know, art school kid, but I live in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad's advice is this, but my school's advice is this. You know what I mean? So like, I've always had a yin and yang input on things.
Got it. That's crazy, man. And but you grew up there? That's where you were born?
Born and raised.
No shit. Born and raised. It's snowy over there, right? And all that shit.
Winters are crazy.
No shit.
I'll never forget when I was like, yo, I don't have to do this. Like, I don't have to be this cold.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks.
Why'd you choose Cali, though? Like, what made you out of everywhere?
My daughter's mother is from here.
Oh, okay.
And me and her were breaking up at the time, and she was like, you know, she was threatened. I wouldn't say, that's a bad word. She was contemplating moving out here, and I believe her when she speaks. She's not a bluffer.
Okay.
So I'm like, if she's going out there, let me get the ball rolling before she does. Because I knew it was inevitable sooner or later. So I'm like, let me get over there first, get my feet wet. You know, that way I'm not trying to like, you know, wrangle and figure out where the grocery store is when I have a 4-year-old, you know. So I was just like, let me just go out here, set up shop, and get more further into my industry. You know?
So tell me, now that you've been here 5 years, like, what would you say are the pros and cons that you've gone through here in California? Like, what are the goods and the bads?
I love it out here. It's lit.
Yeah?
What I always tell people about California is like, yo, if you want to be a juggling clown, I know I will bet you $150 they meet somewhere on Wednesday. Like, you can find that community. Like, whatever, like, that's what I love about out here. It's like, whatever you want to get into, the good and the bad, you can find it out here.
That's
you know
true.
What I'm saying?
That
like,
is true.
You could be the dirtiest criminal ever and be successful at it out here, or you could be like the coolest, most successful producer, or Muay Thai gym, or
the comic guys next door. Have you seen them? They'll have a meeting on the table.
That's really?
Yeah, like they have like a table like this, and they're like all these Pokemon cards and all this.
And that's a community.
And they're just there, and they just lock the door, and they're just like, hey, I don't know. I'm assuming some shit's going down there, but.
And that's a community. And I just say that to say, like, I love it out here because I feel like there's limited communities you can join in other cities. I feel like out here is like a big video game. It's like you could literally join whatever crowd you want to join and prosper in that said crowd, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we have the best weather too.
When you
In the weather, 1,000,000,000%, like 1,000,000,000%.
are you with your baby mama or
No.
somebody different?
I'm
You,
with- I'm
you just
with-
wanted to come for your daughter. That's right.
Yeah,
Right? Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
because I
That's
knew she was going to be here, and I'm like, because like at the time, you know, I had a corporate job. I'm a young dude. I had my kid at like 23, so I had a corporate job. I had enough bread to like hold it down. I made sure that, you know, she was in college, and her dad had, you know, qualms about her finishing at Howard, and I'm like, nah, don't worry, she'll finish school. Like, as long as she wants to finish school, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure she finishes school. So once she finished school, we broke up, and that's when we were doing like the co-parenting thing in DC. And she had an apartment like 5 minutes from my mom's house. So they all had a really close community with my mother helping me. You know, my dad would pull up as much as he wanted to or he could. So I had a big community helping me raise her there. And I'm like, sooner or later, her mother's gonna want her own community. So let me, you know, acclimate to that. She lives in San Diego.
Oh, okay. That's cool, bro.
That's why you're always commuting back and forth, like you tell me.
Yeah, so like it's like the Friday nights, every Friday night that I spar, I just got back from San Diego.
Wow. Yeah.
To pick her up?
To pick her up.
Okay.
Yeah, or drop her off.
Oh, God.
Either or.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's cool,
I'm about to
man.
leave there after this and drop her off.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool. I think Robert Brown does that too, right?
Yeah,
He goes
yeah.
to San Diego a lot every weekend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. So tell us, you're engaged. You say you're engaged.
I am
So
engaged.
let's talk a little bit about that, bro.
And my thank you. And my fiance trains here.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley.
I don't know if I met
Oh,
her.
okay. She comes at different time frames.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So was she here? Did you guys meet here? No.
In California?
No, in the gym or?
No, we didn't meet at the gym. I bought her.
Oh, that's
I
dope.
recruited her here.
So tell us a little bit about your meetup and all that with her, and how did you guys end up both at training now Muay Thai?
So how I met her. Okay, so I met her. So a buddy of mine got a date on Tinder when I first moved out here. His Tinder date was like, "Oh, I'm so sad you guys are moving to DC," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm not going back to DC. I live here now." The Tinder friend was like, "Oh, we should hang out." Da, da, da. She was taking me around, showing me shit, and she took me to this pool party with 3 girls. It was 3 girls and me, and I was like, "Yo, like which one of y'all like me the most?" And she giggled the hardest. And here we are 5
Hey,
years.
That is
I
sick.
love that.
That is
I was like, yo,
sick.
that was usually one of my pickup lines. Like, I walk up to a big group of women and be like, "Hey, y'all, hey, which one of y'all like me?" And whoever smiles the hardest, that's the one who like you. And you say, "Excuse me, ladies, she'll be back in a second."
That's
And
dope.
that's you. You know,
Guys, try that shit out there. On the bottom, let me know how it works out. Let me know who you got engaged to. All that.
it worked. I promise you, it worked.
Yeah, that's
it,
dope.
It works.
That's dope. And then what did she think about Muay Thai and all that? Has she ever done it before? And how'd you end up bringing her?
She's from Germany. She was born in Germany, black woman born in Germany, and then she went to like New Jersey, and so her upbringing was completely different than mine. Like I believe in like guns and fighting and defending yourself, and I believe in all that shit. And to her, she was like appalled because like she met this dude who's like, art school this and drums that and da 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 da. But then was like when she was talking about, I can't believe a gun. I'm like, what you mean can't believe it? Like what? We got 4 of them jumps. Like
Yeah.
you tripping? You know what I'm saying? So it took a lot of convincing and understanding and like explaining my position about just defense and like just how the world around you works. Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't want to fight. I wouldn't want to go to the gym. I wouldn't want to believe in guns or none of that shit. I'd rather heart sparkles, to smoke some weed and just chill. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I would rather do.
Right.
But I've learned over my 31 years that the world around you don't work that way.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you have to be able to be prepared for whatever that looks like.
Yeah, that's true, man. And then so how did it come about? Since she wasn't about like violence, how did you convince her to come to the gym, train, and all that?
Well, so basically, when my body started changing, she was like, "Whoa, like that's
that's
crazy." And she has her own fitness goals and her own fitness journey that she's been working on and currently working on. And when I had that private trainer, she got that for me. Like that trainer that I had when I was just sparring with you guys, she was like, "You need something to make you like happy," because I was like in a rut because it was coronavirus. My industry was shutting down. I'd just been out here only for a year. I'm taking planes every week to try to get to my daughter. So she was like, "Yo, here's something for you," and she got me that membership, and It really changed my life.
That's sick, dude. That's
love
dope.
that.
I love that. Yeah.
That's such a cool story, Malcolm.
Yeah.
That really is. What would you say, and then you're constantly consistent, like how you just mentioned, you'll go to San Diego and then rush back over. Where does that drive come from? Where does that inspiration? Because most people, right, taking a 2-hour drive to San Diego, 2-hour drive back, most people, I'm going to call it a night. But you'll rush over just to still come to class and get some training in.
So how it works, like on Fridays, it takes like 3.5 to get there, and maybe 2:30 if you're lucky to get back. You know, but I'm going further north even where I live to get to the gym. So that's why Zuri would be with me in the gym while I'm sparring, because I literally had I packed my bag. I packed my bag with the intention of knowing, all right, I'm packing my bag because I have to time this perfectly right. Like she gets out of school at this time. If I can get her out 30 minutes earlier, I'm extra lit. And I sprint straight back down here, and I have just enough time to maybe grab me and her something to eat in the car, and then we go train. So like I just have to. Like I have to.
What does it do to you as opposed to just being like, you know what, I'll just go take a regular class the next day, chill? What is it that the sparring and the classes do for you mentally or physically that you feel that like it's non-negotiable, that I'm gonna make it happen? Because that's a huge commitment. You're talking about 5 to 6 hours just on the road, and then you physically have to get into the mode of like sparring and all that. So you're talking about, you've been in the car for 5 hours, right? Which is drainful in itself. And then you just going straight to go sparring and get into that mood, right? So it's like, what is it that goes in your brain that you're like, this is a non-negotiable, I need this fixed for me?
I like the adrenaline rush of sparring, but the class, like I've been working out all week, I've been, you know, learning technique all week, and it's like this class, this Friday night is the one time I got a chance to practice it. You know, so it's like I've been doing this all week, and you mean to tell me I'm not gonna practice what I just learned? Like that's
dope.
That's insane to me.
Cool. I love that. Like, I love that, and that's a true adamant to like no excuses. Malcolm could easily use your daddy, right? You're rushing to go get your daughter, rush back. You're in daddy mode, stuck in traffic, but you're still making time. And you'll have your daughter sit in the gym while you're getting your sparring on. You know, I mean, that's a adamant to like just no excuses. Nothing's gonna stop me. Like I'm gonna do this.
And let me ask you, Neil, how does that make you feel when you have somebody like Malcolm, and then you have people that, I'm just not gonna make it, and give you those excuses, and then they'll show up when they say they were, and then like, as opposed to when you see a Malcolm, like, because I know you care for everybody, you want everybody to get the best of it, but you know also, like, just like business and anything, you'll get people that make excuses the way they don't show up. How do you like look at Malcolm or opposed to somebody who gives you an excuse and you're like, come on, man?
So the difference, to be just so transparent, is just that's why I'm gonna give Malcolm more knowledge.
Dope.
Because he shows me he wants it more, so I'm gonna give him more techniques, more tips. You know, at Q&A, I always do Q&A. If I'm hosting the sparring class, I always do 15 minutes of Q&A at the end, and Malcolm always raises his hand to ask to get more knowledge from me. And those are the types of people that I'm gonna go over and beyond for. I'm gonna, you know, invite him to special camps because I know he wants it. So it's just a matter of, okay, well, he's gonna try his best with his schedule. I understand he's gotta commute back and forth to San Diego. Sometimes he can't make to everything I invite him to, but I'm always gonna invite him because his willingness and no excuse mentality.
Right.
So I really appreciate that.
Dope.
And like, I'm gonna just tell y'all, like, this camp that I'm not in right now has been the shittiest feeling ever. Cause like a goal of mine, like a new goal of mine is like, and I've expressed this to Kru, is like, I do want to get in the ring before.
Oh, you want to fight?
At one point.
Oh shit, I didn't know.
At some point.
Got it.
Like, I'm 31, I'm not getting any younger. And this is where like fighters who've been doing it since they were jits, this is when they like start priming out. So I respect that part of the game as well. But I do want to compete at some point, you know. At least once, just to say, if just to say I fucking did it. Hey, Zuri, you know your daddy was knocking motherfuckers out back in 2023. You know,
he beat the shit out of somebody.
You know, like, no, Malcolm. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if not for any other reason, I really do want to compete. But I have those days where I don't want to come. I have those days where it's harder because like I freelance, so I don't have a job. Right. So when I work, I got to spring into action. If somebody call me and need me, I have to go because like that's the only way I'm gonna get my money today. You know what I'm saying? So showing up for me is like I really respect not only the fact what I'm doing for myself, but like I have recruited like 3-4 people to the gym. My aunt's working out back home. I got buddies like DMing me from college. I ain't talked to in like 7 years, talking about, yo, what's the plan? How you doing it? And it's like, if I give up at this point, I'd be literally letting a handful of people around me down.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, it's funny. Last Friday, I was there and I saw your daughter there, and she was just focused and she was like doing the whole sparring, and I like sentiment, like it just got me like, man, like that's what it's about. Like, people don't understand how much children will see as an example more than what they hear, what you tell them. And it's just like, man, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to tell her anything, but she's here like watching this. She's here right now. She sees you in the sparring, and I'm like, that's a perfect example of a great man. You know what I mean?
Yo, more than you know, I appreciate it.
And then not only knowing all the trips and everything you do for your commitment, for yourself and for your sanity and all that, it's just like, wow, I didn't even know that about you, which is more amazing, because going back to why we do this podcast, what's your excuse when you have a gentleman like you, a father like you, who wants it not only for yourself, but for your child, for your fiance, and then you influence all these other people back home? It's just like, you don't understand the beacon that you are of how many people you influence just by your discipline. And going back to it, it's like, when you're disciplined and you show the world, you have no idea how many people you touch and inspire them to take action and all that. And going back to like how you said, now you have this responsibility where all these people are like, Malcolm, what are you doing this, or how are you doing that, or where can I find a gym locally by my area, whatever it might be. And it's like, we hear so much negativity in the world and the news and out there, and that's why we love putting out this on a weekly basis, because we want to contribute in whatever way we can to just one person that hears your story, and they're like, if he can do it, I can do it. Wait a minute, I'm a single dad, or if he does that commute, I can do it. What's my fucking excuse? That's you know what I mean? And all that, and like, that's what it's about, bro. And like, that's why I love hearing stories. I know Neil feels the same way, you know what I mean? And it goes back to like this community of Muay Thai, that it's beyond just the technique and the physical aspect. It's like what happens to individuals and how they change to catapult themselves to another level where they become an influence to other people in the world.
David doesn't even know like what he did for me. Like, he has no idea. Like, and I be trying to like say, I be like jokingly like, yo, you changed my life, bruh. No, he really changed my life. Like, I be getting emotional thinking about it sometimes, because it's like, yo, I watched him like, I've always been like the skinny dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, textbook, like frail. Like, and what made me get back into working out again, or like retrying Muay Thai, because I took a couple years off or whatever from when I first did that first set of classes. And I walked past myself in the mirror, and I just did not like that shit, like, at all. I was just like, bruh, like, I look like I could beat you up. Like I wanted to, like, it just was not okay. And then I came to the gym, and David's not a big dude, but you could tell he takes care of himself. And I originally signed back up just to do a couple of days, like 3 days or something. And then that was like in September, October. And then David was like, he said it so lackadaisically. This was like right before he started coaching. He was like, oh, yeah, I just come every day, maybe take 2 classes. And before I heard that out loud, that just wasn't even a list of possibilities to me. Every day and 2 classes? So once he said that to me, for the month of December and January, I went 5 days a week for the whole month, no excuses. Like, that was like game changing. So once I got that momentum going, I got a little bit of like perk on my little bicep. I was like, yo, we cooking with grease, baby.
Yeah,
and then
I love it.
And then my woman had her own trainer that was doing weights, and I didn't want to do weights. I'm like, fuck weights, I got Muay Thai. Da, 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 da. And then she's like, no, just try it. And so out of support for her, I started lifting weights. And I did that shit for like 2 weeks, and I was like, yo, now I'm just like, oh, I like this result. Yeah. So after that first compliment or two, you couldn't pay me not to show back up. You know what I'm saying? And that was all because David took his shirt off, and I was just like,
yeah, that's dope. But it's crazy. It goes back to like one person, that's and right. Sometimes you don't even know. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like unspoken,
just the way you carry yourself. You see someone, and like you got inspired by David, and even though you tell him you changed my life, but he doesn't really. he won't know until he hears this podcast and hears your story. Then he'll be like, oh damn, I didn't know. And sometimes we just don't know the impact we have on people.
Yeah, he was just so humble. Like for him, what impressed me about him was like he was elite, and it was no big deal because I can tell he just feels like that's what he's supposed to do, and that's like a different. It's different for me. I can even say I'm not like that. When I'm tight, nigga, you gonna know I'm tight. Like I'm lit. Yeah. But like I respect a man also who can equally be that cool and just like that's how I feel about my camera work. I don't have the need to be boisterous. I watched him just be so good at it and just so okay with being good at it. And it wasn't like because he owed it to somebody else or he was trying to prove a point. It was like that was what he did for him, and that was the coolest. Yeah. That was so cool to me. Like I'm like, you don't realize you're an animal? He's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely.
That's David. That's David's typical response too.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Neil continuously says. Like he's different. His mind is different. His effort is different, and I don't think I'm not involved as much as you guys in these camp, but like every time I pass by and everything, he's giving it his all, huh?
Always.
So, and then Neil's always telling me, he's like, buddy, like, he's different. He's hungry. He's never full. You know what I mean? And that's relatable to business, to anything else you're passionate about. You know what I mean?
That first camp that I did with y'all, I knew that those dudes was different. Yeah. Like that was when I think it was like the March fights. I think it was, and that was my first time I ever went to a camp. That shit, like that was like a moment where I was like, yo, these dudes are like, if not for people, I would say this like to anyone who listens to this, like any person that's getting inside that ring is a beast. Yeah. Like he's a different level of a man that you can't even, until you even try it a day or try it a week, you can't even fathom what these dudes are doing. Like, so even when I'm talking about the dude that loses is a beast. And I realized that, like when I was in fight camp, I got hit. Somebody, I think what's his name? The big dude, older dude. He's like a fighter. Tobias.
Yeah.
Tobias hit me like this. Like he put my head in me. It was like my first day in a fight camp, and I was like, "Yo, this is like what kind of Mortal Kombat shit is this?" Like it was insane. And like, it changed my whole perspective and my respect for what we do.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Malcolm, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. But before we sign off, though, for anyone that's listening right now that has a similar story to you, maybe you've touched their heart and they're like, man, I heard Malcolm's story. I want to do that. I have no excuse. What kind of guidance or advice could you give to that person right now, male or female? Like, what kind of guidance, what kind of advice you could give that help you keep pushing and make no excuses?
Give yourself 30 days. Like, I've had like I've had like at least literally 7 false starts on this fitness journey where I, get momentum for a week, then I'll like get sore or I'll get busy and then I'll stop. This is the first time in my whole life where I've dedicated myself to something that didn't have an immediate result. And the only way I found that out was by giving myself the actual chance. So my advice to anybody that's in my position is like, and I speak for like skinny dudes who want to improve their physique and improve their like mentality and their confidence. Because I've always come off as a confident man because of like my personality or my outfits or my jobs or whatever, but my physical stature bothered me. And I'm here to tell you, you can do something about it.
Yes.
Like,
I love that.
Give yourself 30 days, bro. Like,
I love that.
30. I'm talking about 30 days of a good diet and working out. Because I'm at the point now where I do it twice a day. But if you just give yourself 30 days, 1 hour a day, when you go in that gym for 1 hour, nothing matters but the fucking gym. That's the best respite you can have. Give yourself 30 days, bro. And after those 30 days, if I'm wrong, I can fuck off.
Yeah. Let me piggyback off of that, bro, because I love parents, especially when they're your daughter's here and everything. And one thing that I've heard is once it's put on YouTube, it's there forever. What do you want to tell your daughter who's here when she's 18 and she hits adversity like everybody else? What message would you like to give to her? Because at one day, she's going to see this video. You know what I mean?
I would say shit sucks. But no matter how much it sucks, your attitude is what's going to be the catalyst of success or failure. That's it. Like, I always had this thing where like you'll get this magical phone call, or you'll get this magical opportunity, or none of that shit exists, bruh. Like it's always gonna be adversity. You can have everything going right in your life and you lose someone. You can have everything going right in your life and you break your fucking ankle on the day you needed your ankle.
Yeah.
You know, so adversities are gonna always come, but like your attitude and how you attack that will determine whether you're successful or a failure. And the only people that are failures are the ones who gave up. Because I fail every fucking day.
Yeah, I love that, Malcolm.
It's beautiful.
Love that. Man, mic drop, boom.
Yeah, wow.
Malcolm, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Such an amazing story. I know you're gonna touch some people's hearts with your story and inspire them. But guys, thank you for tuning in with another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. If it's your first time tuning in, we love to bring on different guests on board to share their story of how Muay Thai has impacted them in a special way. And today was Malcolm's story. So if you like this video or anything else, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And stay tuned for next week. We'll see you guys soon.